What up, gang? You already know what it is. This your boy Neil, back at it, the best at it. So today I just want to go over a couple of things that could probably, hope it don't go over your head, but hopefully incite some folks that's around my age. I'm 43 now, because growing up in the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, the way we thought is not the way people think nowadays. Um, and I'll share a quick story on what I'm saying. Basically, I'll give you a quick background. I opened a restaurant in 2012, 2013. And I went to Texas for a weekend, and we went, all of the guys, the fellas, on a late night, we went to a restaurant, and I was really feeling the atmosphere. I was liking the way the flow, you know, and it's like a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, man, I can take this back to the city and really capitalize on what Texas was doing. It's a bigger place, much larger culture. But I was thinking maybe I can, emphasize this and use this and utilize it in my city. So that's what I did. I came home and I opened up a restaurant. I opened up a wing spot. It was called Queen City Wings. And I was actually able to be number one on Google for several years. Best wings in the city. But the idea of having a late night spot, I tried it maybe 2 or 3 nights. I had security. I actually had a club promoter just to make sure that I would have a crowd, to ensure I would have a crowd. So I did everything possible that I could do to bring that idea to light in my city, but it just wasn't the flow. So I had to step back and do a lot of research and a lot of fine tuning to see the geographic of my city and see how I can capitalize on having a restaurant in my area. So basically, in my area, lunchtime was basically the most the most prevalent time that restaurants thrive in Charlotte. So that's what I did. I started doing the daytime mostly. Mostly I keyed in on lunchtime. So I don't want to go too far into the restaurant because that's a whole nother video. And I just want to stick to the story that I wanted to bring and present. So that's the background on when this subject matter happened. I was leaving work from the restaurant. I had operated, cooked, cleaned. I did everything. You know what I mean? Initially, I did have a team, but people wasn't seeing eye to eye. I went through business partners as well over the years, but never nothing really stuck. So I always was in there doing it myself. Um, it was fun. It was very, 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 very fun. I mean, I had a good time over the years doing that. Met a lot of people. I was actually able to supply the Carolina Panthers, which is Charlotte, North Carolina's football team, when Cam Newton and that whole squad. Uh, I was their chicken wing man, you know what I mean? So I had met Cam Newton several times from him coming to the restaurant. But back to the story. So leaving the restaurant, crazy long day. I'm in traffic and I get a call about I need to stop and get some something from the store. Basically, I got a call, said, "Hey, stop and get something from the store for me." Boom. So as I pull into a parking lot to hit the U-turn. I pull in the parking lot midway, and then I'm backing out, but it's kind of like I can't pull all the way in because it's like a parking lot that you can just have enough space to pull your car in the front, right? So if you back out, you're gonna back out into the street. So, but this is around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock traffic. So traffic's on both sides of the street. So when I pull in into bus a U-turn, pretty much the traffic that was coming this way, I waited, pulled in. It was a slot for me to pull out. But as I was pulling out, it was somebody coming fast down the street. So this dude coming fast down the street as I'm pulling out to do my U-turn. And he abruptly had to stop because I'm pulling out, I'm backing out. So he had his sunroof open and he's screaming at the screaming out of his windshield, like, blah 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 blah, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. You know how people do. So I'm like, man, whatever. Man, whatever. I don't want to hear that. Go on, say that drama for your mom. So after I hit him with that, he took it upon himself to come out of the sunroof and pop off a couple shots at me. And I will leave a video and some pictures at the end of this video, and I'll also insert it somewhere along this video, maybe right here. But this guy comes out of his sunroof, pops off a couple shots in my back window, right? One bullet hit when in my window, back window, because at this point I done pulled all the way out at the street, right? So we pretty much like this, and he come out the sunroof and shoot like downwards toward my car. So he actually was aiming for my head because the bullet came through the back of the window, right? Exactly marched where my head would be from the front driver's seat. But lucky for me, when the bullet came in the window, it hit um, the plastic that's where the brake light sits, and then it shot off to the curb, shot off in the corner where kind of like the gas tank sits. It's kind of like down in there. I can't actually reach the bullet, but you can trace, kind of see where it went, if you can, get what I'm saying. So when this guy comes out and shoot the back of my window, of course I drive up. I'm like a little bit in panic mode. I'm kind of surprised in shock mode, but I'm like in panic mode. I'm like, this dude just really just shoot at my car. So I pull up into traffic, but traffic is at a red light. And I look behind and I see he's still like popping off and talking and popping off at the same time as I look behind. But I pulled up and I'm in traffic. So I'm thinking in my head, I need to think fast and I need to react fast. So I grabbed my gun because I am a CCW holder, um, been for years. So I grabbed my firearm, cocked it back, and I'm thinking if this guy comes up still, shooting, and I'm in the car, I'm sitting duck. So in my mind, I need to get out, what I'm saying, and tackle this threat head on. So that's what I did. Popped my door open, jumped out, and I just started, shooting in his area. Thank God the angels above must have been like knocking bullets, you know what I mean? Because no other cars got damaged or nothing else came from it. Because once I started once I started returning fire, basically protecting myself from being killed, he, you know, he kind of turned real quick, like, and went through a side street. But once this dude went through a side street, he hit another side street to come back to start coming to shoot at me again. So at this point, I'm like, yo, somebody gonna get killed. Either I'm gonna kill him, he's gonna kill me, or somebody is gonna, innocent bystander is gonna get harmed from this recklessness. So I need to try to go on about my business, and if he continues to follow me, then we just gonna have to, do what we need to do. But I'm just gonna go on about my business and take this to a place that is not around so much public. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. I kind of hit another back street, where houses, and then I seen an open store or open store parking lot. So I pulled in that parking lot, checked the car out or whatever, and noticed so I stopped hearing gunshots. So I'm assumed he went on about his business too. Now I don't know if I hit this gentleman from return fire, but I do know that he left. You know what I mean? And he did not hit me. But it freaked me out. I'm talking about freaked me out. So as I'm looking and examining my car, I'm thinking, am I going through a sixth sense? Am I dead? And I'm just looking at everybody that's alive, and now I'm in this freaking ghost like existence, and nobody will be able to, hear me or whatever. I'm like, I was freaking out because I'm like, where did the bullet go? You know? And how did that not hit me in the back of the head? So when I went to my mom's house and I was telling them the story, whatever. And even the whole night, I was still feeling like I'm in a sixth sense. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that done had this feeling before. Either a close death experience or something like that. But it was freaky. Like I did not believe that I was alive. I seeing the gun hole and it as big as it was and right behind my head, and I could not find the bullet. But I do know I'm still here and to make this video. So the bullet kind of went and ricocheted what a gas tank was. And it's still in there today. And this happened a couple years ago. But I am telling this story so that all my folks 40, 35 and over, close to 40 and maybe 40 and over, guys, this is a new generation. This is a new generation way of thinking because this guy was not no young teeny bop by no. He would, I can tell from his ugly curly hair, it was like a blue blonde kind of, he had something funky going on in his hair. So I could tell that he was not like a young person, but obviously he thinks like a freaking young person by just thinking he can settle his arguments with gunfire, and thinking that you can't go through life like that because you're gonna run up on the right person. You know, everybody ain't gonna take the same. So, right, hope he's all right. I'm all right, but it was basically self defense, and I just wanted to share that story because road rage is for real. And if someone is arguing with you, if someone decides to try to cut you off, if someone decides to do anything stupid out there in the streets, please do not return that same energy. You know, this is what it means to turn to, that's what that means when it means to turn the other cheek. So you don't know how people will react. You don't know how people, because a lot of times people that have guns, it gives them a certain bravado, you know, and they think that they can handle things through a gun rather than conversation or even knuckling up like we used to do in the old days. You know what I mean? And that's what everybody say. They don't want to fight no more. It's just straight to the guns. So being that I know that, I am going to protect myself by any means necessary. You know what I mean? I'd rather get caught with it than without it. And that's been my motto, you know, that's been the family motto ever since I can remember. You know, I've been taught this. It's in my blood. So, um, guys, protect yourself, be careful, be observant, and watch your ass. It's Nail checking in. Until the next time, gang. Peace.
I just got to another job and the guy was like,